like to introduce Adam, who helped organize this, and knows that before you can fight to change things, you have to get busted. So, Adam Eidinger.
Hey everybody! Wow, I'm gonna make this less hot and take it off if possible because it's too low. All right, now you can hear me all throughout Catharsis. So guys, I want to congratulate everybody who's worked so hard today to get us to this point. We have a pretty spectacular looking site. There's a lot to explore and there's more being built. So now we're doing this talk about drug war stories, and I mean, for me it's really obvious what I want to talk about. It's the raid of my 2 stores by the police because of the drug war. In 2011, I was co-owner of 2 stores called Capital Hemp here in DC. We specialized in selling vaporizers, bongs. At the time, we had to call them water pipes. And we had a lot of undercover police coming into the store from the very get-go when we opened in 2008. We had undercover DEA parked outside the store. They were convinced that we were selling marijuana out of the store, and we really were not. So their investigation went away, and then it came back in 2011, and we didn't know we were under investigation. They spent 6 months investigating the store, sending in undercovers, trying to figure out if people are knowingly buying drug paraphernalia, namely bongs and vaporizers. And in October of 2011, both stores, I think it was like 8 o'clock at night, were raided by 35 police officers with big U-Haul rental trucks. And they just emptied the stores of inventory. They arrested all the employees. There was 6 people. They arrested a customer who was in the store. They had a warrant. The judge that issued the warrant was on his deathbed. And I'm not exaggerating. He literally was on his deathbed. And he died like a week after he issued the warrant. It sounded like he was tricked into signing the warrant because the main evidence was the fact that we sold books about industrial hemp. We sold books about medical marijuana. We sold books about the drug war in general, about how alcohol is more dangerous than pot. We really were educating people. And because we had this bookshelf at one end of the store, and at the other end of the store where we sold pipes and vaporizers and bongs, the police made the connection that, the store is called Capital Hemp. You can have hemp clothing, like I'm wearing a hemp sweater right now. Yeah, you guys are clearly conflating. And that's what they, alleged to the judge. And the judge said, yeah, they are. So they intend to sell it for use of marijuana, even if they have signs up saying it's for legal use only. And, and all this all this BS about, what a head shop can sell is because of the drug war. And we don't go around, busting Walmart for selling the cheapest cups in town, I mean, but that's what it'd be like during alcohol prohibition, Let's go around and bust people for selling. If you have a shot glass, obviously it's for alcohol. I mean, that's what they would say. But we didn't bust people for shot glasses during prohibition. At least I don't think we did. But we're going to bust people for a pipe, and that just seems nuts. So, our employees, we bailed them out. We had to turn ourselves in. They issued warrants for my partner and I's arrests. And we spent a night in jail. And it was pretty ridiculous to be dragged into court here in DC Superior Court, in shackles, with my, wrists shackled to my waist and my ankles shackled and chains banging around. And you're wearing a jumpsuit, actually. Actually, no, we didn't put a jumpsuit on this time. But it's pretty humiliating. You're brought into a courtroom in shackles. And it's like, what am I, Hannibal Lecter? Am I gonna bite the judge? I mean, they didn't put anything on my face, thank goodness. But but it was just like, I can't believe this is happening. What did we do that was so bad? And they said to us that, well, we have to put you in chains because we treat everybody the same here. It doesn't matter if you're like a murderer or if you're a head shop owner. You're going to be treated the same. I guess there's some fairness in the way they treat you, I guess, if we're all going to be treated this way, humiliating way. So, we hired a lawyer and we managed to get all the charges dropped against our employees. And two of our employees had pot on them. And it was interesting because they're not supposed to have pot on them. They were supposed to keep it out of the store, but even that was dropped. Like the cops were not interested in that. And it became really clear to us this was like a political witch hunt that was going on, that we were an active political store in the city. We allowed lots of groups like Vote Hemp and Americans for Safe Access to use our store for events. And so we were tied in with the community. And if you look around America, I challenge you to find a head shop that's politically active. They usually keep their heads down. They are operating in a gray area. If you're in Missouri or you're in Florida, you keep your heads down. You don't upset any politicians. You don't put yourself on the news. And we just did the total opposite here in D.C. We were like, that is the only way we're going to be able to stay open, because back in the 80s, every single head shop in the city was raided and shut down. And for 15 years, we didn't really have a decent head shop in the city until we opened. And business was very good because there was no competition. But again, it was in a gray area. So I'm kind of beating around the bush here. We made a deal to close the stores after 9 months in exchange for all of our property being returned. And so it was sort of a sick calculus, like what is the least damaging thing we could do? What could we do that would avoid bankruptcy, that would damage our personal credit for years to come? So we agreed to close the stores in exchange for about $350,000 worth of bongs, vaporizers, and rolling papers to be returned. And in the history of head shop raids, I don't think we have any example of this kind of like handing over of everything the police just took from you to get a store to close. But this was a unique situation. The U.S. attorney here did not want us to fight this, did not want us in court. Was very concerned they would lose because of the popularity of the store, because of sympathy in the community. And that really opened my eyes that it was time to really change the law. That it wasn't that we did something wrong. It was that the law was wrong. It was unjust. It had gotten this bad. And if we were just going to be targeted for selling pipes and vaporizers, well, damn it, we should legalize it. So I kind of like told my partner, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to be selling pipes and vaporizers in Maryland, where this is where we moved. My partner went and opened the Noon, and it's done pretty well. And it was great because, it kept one foot in the head shop world. But I said, look, I've got nothing to lose. Let's legalize marijuana in D.C. Let's find a coalition that's willing to do this with us. And a lot of things happened. You had the American Civil Liberties Union and the Washington Lawyers Committee basically release a report in 2013 that showed that arrests for marijuana for blacks were 9 times more likely to occur than for whites. That we had 4,000 to 5,000 marijuana arrests a year over like a 5-year period. We're talking about tens of thousands of district residents who've gone behind bars for pot. What's going on? Like, why is this happening? And then we looked at it even more and we realized this isn't just the marijuana capital of the United States, but it's the marijuana arrest capital of the world. And nowhere in the world were you more likely to be arrested for marijuana. So we got there with a ballot initiative. We changed the law with a ballot initiative. We have a lot of restrictions for those of you not in D.C. I think there's a bunch of you here. We can't put sale and tax and regulate the way they talk about it in Colorado or Washington State. You can't put that on the ballot here. But what you can do is you can give people rights. And so along with the help of our great attorney, Joe Sandler, we were able to craft an initiative that gives you the right to grow marijuana, up to 6 plants in a household, 2 people can grow. You can keep everything you grow. And we put it out there as a big step forward, as a way to reduce the underground economy, all this stuff. And we also legalized sale of pipes, vaporizers, and rolling papers as part of the initiative, which would mean that any head shop, anybody can open a head shop here, just get a business license. So, we collected the 60 or almost 60,000 signatures, 56,000 signatures. You can see all those signatures on paper in the installation that DCMJ has set up just in front of me over there. If you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to check out. You can see what all the work looked like. We're going to burn those petitions, but anyway, the campaign was a huge grassroots effort. Many of you here, I worked long hours on the campaign, volunteered long hours on the campaign, and we ran it like a citywide mayoral campaign. We treated it like we have to win every single precinct, and we won every precinct except for one. We lost that precinct by 9 votes. I mean, we nearly won every neighborhood in the city. No politician really can claim that. Maybe Barack Obama. He's the only one who can claim that, I think. So, District of Columbia is not a state, and Congress will review our laws regularly, and of course they reviewed this law. And I think a lot of us were like, we don't care if they overturn it. We don't want them to, but we're doing this initiative one way or the other. That was our attitude. Force them to overturn it. Force them to show how undemocratic they are. Don't neuter yourself if you don't have to. Get it done. Pass it, and then make them do something negative. Instead of us always saying, well, it's not worth it. They won't let us do it. And that's what people have been saying about lots of things in DC. We can't do it. Congress won't let us do it. Even though we've got great progressives in the city, local government is really progressive, but they're always afraid of the Congress interfering. And I say, make them interfere. Call their bluff. And that's exactly what we did. And it worked. It really worked. This is April. We got, to a point where people were, marching through the streets handing out joints. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, there really was a sort of eye-opening experience that this plant is not kryptonite. It's not radioactive. Cannabis should be in your life if you want it to be, and you shouldn't be afraid or feel any stigma for that matter. So so far so good. We're defending the initiative. Even this event helps defend the initiative from being overturned. It shows that we're here. We haven't gone away. Just today, this is so exciting, and I know we're supposed to talk in drug war stories, but this is a story that's very positive. Is that because of the raid of Capitol Hemp, because of mass awareness about racial disparities, because so many people actually come out to vote on the issue, we're really seeing change right now, and it's happening pretty rapidly. Just today, the Washington Post put out a story about they took a new poll, and this poll is really interesting. It's not they asked how many people support the marijuana legalization effort. 69% said yes. So we got 70 to vote for it. So we according to this poll, we lost 1% over the last year. That's great. That's amazing. Like, that means it's a success. If it was a problem, if legalization was a problem, that poll would be much lower. But there was really no change. When it comes to other questions, though, they've asked questions I've never seen before. And the question is, how often do you smell marijuana walking around Washington, D.C.? I kid you not. This is in the Washington Post. It's going to be published tomorrow in the paper. It's online right now. You can pull up on your phone. But this story is hysterical. It basically talks about where people smell pot the most and the least. So wards 1, 7, and 8, you're more likely to smell pot than in the rest of the city. They asked people, now, do you mind smelling pot? And the most interesting thing was that 40% said not at all. 40%, not at all. That's like, wow. And then there was like another, I think 20% that said not really, or just some sort of like more neutral response. And then there was only 4% said they really objected to smelling marijuana. Only 4. That means that 96% of the people who live here just don't really have a problem smelling marijuana. So, and the article is great. It just keeps interviewing person after person, people who don't smoke, who are like, yeah, well, it doesn't really bother me that much. I think, the drug war bothered me more. I mean, that's the message, is that the putting these people in jail that bothered me a lot more. So that's really encouraging and exciting, and I guess we are in a new era here. And then I love hearing, this is the most encouraging thing, from people who are not from DC who come and say, wow, if it's legal here, why can't it be legal in Pittsburgh? Or why can't it be legal in Cleveland? Or why can't it be legal in all these other places that actually probably have just the same number of popularity of marijuana among the public? So, it's like, it's validating that the sky won't fall. You can do it. You can do it responsibly. And I can keep talking about this for a long time because, we're actually fighting to lift a ban on communal use of cannabis in the city. The mayor put this into place a week after our law went into effect, managed to get the entire city council to vote with her, claimed, I think there was a secret deal with John Boehner and the mayor. No, I'm not making this up. There was a deal. It's not a secret. There was a deal that they would let the initiative home cultivation go into effect, the Republicans in the House, as long as DC didn't turn into Amsterdam. And the mayor told me personally, I don't want smoke-ins like they have in Denver on the National Mall. And I told her, I said, I won't organize a giant smoke-in on the mall if you support the initiative. And she said, I'll support the initiative. But she never agreed to support communal use. And reason this is so important is that we have maybe 30% of the public here who lives in housing where, for one reason or the other, marijuana use is prohibited. Usually it's because it's public federal housing, or it's because their private landlord has it in the lease. So, when you think about who that affects, it's low-income people that are being sort of forced out on the street corner to smoke pot if they don't want to get kicked out of their apartment. And then if they're on the street corner, well, that's still illegal in the city. But we can tell that with only 7 arrests for possession in public or consumption, I believe. I think it's only 7 in the last year. And that's not really being enforced in the city. And that's okay by me, but I just think that we need to say once and for all, if a venue that has ventilated area, a roof deck or something, wants to allow smoking of tobacco or marijuana cigarettes, then, it's okay. And the business owner can benefit from the interest in marijuana, and we can have a place where people can come and be social and talk. And instead of having to hide at home and having, increasingly you have parties in people's homes that really shouldn't be in someone's home. It should be in a nightclub. It should be, and that's what's happening in the city. We have a vibrant marijuana culture in the city, but it's home based. And it just, people they have neighbors, these homes are not set up for 100 people smoking pot a lot of the time. We all like to get out. And so I'm tired of business owners, and some of them are supporting this catharsis, having to sneak around with their clientele and letting them smoke pot. No one's being hurt by it. And I argue that it's safer to do it that way, to have social place. So, Amsterdam, it will never be Amsterdam here. I don't want it to be Amsterdam. I want this to be Washington, D.C., a place that has its own character, its own flavor. And definitely the bud is good here. This is a good climate for growing weed. We've proved that this year. It's a long night, so I'm just going to take one more minute. So we, I think it's really special what we did here. And I'm blown away, and I realize what we did is going to take years of work to defend and to perfect, but we're on the right track. We just got to push the politicians, and they see it. They see how popular it is, but we got to hold them accountable and not reward anybody for doing nothing. Or lip service is nice, but we want to see some results. So if you want us to open our pocketbooks and donate to your campaigns, you really gotta get serious about change. And I don't care what party you're in. If you're serious about change, the drug reform community is pretty nonpartisan. They really are not doing this as Democrats or Republicans or independents even. It's really about the policies, and people are just so frustrated by them, and they want change. And we're gonna get it. We are gonna get it. I feel it. 2016. Yep, we're gonna legalize marijuana at the federal level. I really believe it. Well, I'm just going to say thank you again for being here. I'm going to be here till sunrise. I hope you'll hang out with me. We'll hold this place down for the next crew. And I want to thank, Psymposia a lot for, hosting the Speak Out tonight and keeping it so well organized. And again, enjoy Catharsis.
All right. Another round of applause for Adam, who helped make all of this happen. All right.